Hey YouTube, what's going on? I know you guys. What's up? What's up? How you feeling? How you feeling? It's funny because like the talk that I get to do with you right now that Facebook doesn't even get a chance to see. So it's like our time, you know. We really get to indulge in each other's company. So how you doing today? Okay, never mind. Facebook is here. We'll talk later. All right. So today's video is going to be alone. Yesterday's epiphany, and it's going to say it's yours, not theirs. Lunchtime motivation. Here we go. All right, ladies and gentlemen, how are you doing today? I hope you're doing very well. It's a gorgeous day outside. If you live in St. Louis, Missouri, you're wondering what is going on. It doesn't even feel like it's about to go into November. I'm telling you what, it's beautiful outside. So take the time, go outside, and just enjoy the day. So today's video, first of all, hello. Happy AO to you and a happy AO to me. Hi-O to you and AO to me. All right, so here we go. Let's talk. Today's video is actually pretty interesting. It was an epiphany I had yesterday about being alone. And you're like, uh-oh, here we go. DeMar's going to complain. I understand there's going to be a part of this where I'm going to explain something, but it's not about, I'm not trying to call anybody out. What I'm trying to give you is the perspective of what I got from this, because it's pretty good. And then it's yours, not theirs. And we'll explain all that here in a second. So let's get started. So you guys know I'm in a book club, and you know I've been doing my book club thing, and I'm really excited about it. And I'm reading Think and Grow Rich, and it's for me for the second time because I wanted to read it as I'm moving through life. They say you must read this book again and again, because as you move through life, not only will the secret be revealed, and you'll start to understand it in your life and take advantage of it, and as long as you implement and act on this, then you'll be super successful, and you'll never know like where it came from. But on top of that, it's like as you move through life and your life changes and elevates or decreases, whatever it does, as you read this book, you'll get different things out of it. You will never get the same thing out of it you got, 10 years ago or 3 years ago. For me, it would have been 3 years ago. So I'm reading this book again. So I created a book club to have me read this book because I wanted to read it with people. It's all about reading with people so you can get that camaraderie and build on what somebody else is thinking, and like, oh, I didn't think of it that way. Kind of throw ideas off each other. It's going to be a mastermind eventually. If those of you who know what a mastermind is, it will be a mastermind eventually. Now it's building to a mastermind. You know what I'm saying? So yesterday was book club, and like I said, we're reading Think and Grow Rich, and I went to the restaurant that we normally go to, and I go in, and I was a little bit early, so I went downstairs where we normally read, which is Leo's Pub, and went downstairs, kind of chilled out there, and then 8 o'clock hit, nobody's there, and 8:30 hit. Sorry, 8:15 hit, nobody's there. 8:30 hit, nobody's there. And I'm sitting here like, I'm in here by myself. And at that point in time, because nobody has showed up for book club, and no one has said they weren't going to show up for book club, I was sitting there, and instead of getting all upset and mad, oh man, these people didn't show up, oh my gosh, that's my Kevin Hart. Hope it was good. Instead of me doing that, I realized something. It actually brought a big smile on my face, and this is where the epiphany hit. The idea for this book club was mine, not theirs. What I wanted to get out of this book club was to read this book again, and I wanted to use this platform to reach some people who may have never read it before. And by doing that, open this up to a whole new area of St. Charles, St. Louis that never have read this book before, right? But they didn't show. It didn't show for book club. But the problem is that I wasn't looking, and actually I guess I didn't really get mad about it, so I guess this is what happened. But how many times in your life that you get mad about something because the expectation is that, nobody shows up for your event, or nobody shows up for you this, here, and that. But we have to realize is that what is for us may not be for them. And then if God's gonna bless you, and you say, oh God, I want this, it's so bad, I want this book club, I want it to be so awesome, and I want everybody to be there. At some point in time, God's going to put a test on you, or the universe, or whatever you like to say. He's going to put a test on you. And it's going to say, okay, nobody showed up. Now what are you going to do? Now the average person, because nobody shows up at this point in time, what do? Hold on, it's right there. It says line right there. Quit. They're going to quit. Even though it says don't quit. That's what they do. If nobody shows up and nobody does what they're supposed to do, you get upset, or we get upset, and we quit. Instead of us saying, well, is what I really wanted what I wanted? What I'm saying I wanted, what I really wanted, because if it is what I really wanted, then nobody can knock me off of my goal. Nobody can knock me off of my task. Nobody, because they can't show up or they don't show up, is going to make my dreams go elsewhere. You get what I'm saying? So yesterday I was tested, and it kind of got to the epiphany of, do I really want to read this book? And if I do, it doesn't matter if anybody shows up because I did my reading and I was ready. Yesterday was an amazing chapter about the ether. And I know you guys don't know about ether, but it's about, you know, the deliverance of wanting what you want, but not only that, having the faith to go get it. So if I quit because nobody shows up, then that means I have no faith that I'm going to make it through this book. And it wasn't about me wanting to read this book. It would be about something else. But since I know that the book itself was a conduit to getting, the book club itself was a conduit to get through it. And everybody, I had about 15 people that were excited about book club. And then all of a sudden I'm reading it by myself for this one night. Now I could get discouraged or I can get powered up because now I realize, wait a second, it's my success now is not dependent on whether somebody else shows up for me. My success right now doesn't depend on if somebody approves or not of what I have. And let me go ahead and read what I have in this book. Let's see here. When you do what you would, okay, so what do you do when the world quits on you? It will bring up the question, how badly do you want it? And do you want it as bad as you claim you want it? Because if you can let somebody knock you off because they're not acting right, or because they're not accepting it, or because they don't show, then you actually didn't want it as bad as you wanted to have it. And then the other part about that is that, you know, and I actually got this quote, and I'm adding this onto it as a second piece. I probably could have done another video on it, but this is a pretty powerful piece also, kind of goes with it. And I got it from Cedric. There's a guy named Cedric on my wall. I forgot his last name. I think it's Harris, Cedric Harris, but he's a huge multi-level marketer, but he's always about motivation and moving people up and having people to increase their life. And what he posted on his wall, he said, what we need is already inside of us. Okay? So that was it, but there's a little bit more. So I'm adding on some to this. It says, what we need is already inside of us, but we try to pin our success on the somebody else that's showing up, so we don't have to do it alone. So think about some of the things that you want to do in your life, but you don't want to do it alone. How many people want to travel? How many people are willing to travel alone? Get your hand raised. Think about, you know, other things you want to do, but you don't want to do them alone. I've talked to people, oh, I would do that. Let me see if my friends want to do it with me. That's just their way of making sure they don't have to do it alone. But here's the deal, and this is the other part I wrote, right? Remember, what you need is already inside of you. What you need is inside of you. What we need is already inside of us, right? What you need is inside of you. I didn't say what you need is inside of them. You get what I'm saying? So sometimes you're going to have to be willing to walk a journey alone. You're going to have to realize that sometimes it's going to be okay for you to walk away from the group because you have a vision that your group doesn't understand. And as you walk alone, you're going to find out not only what you're about, you're going to find out if whether or not your truth is real. Because if it's not real, guess what? You'll slide right back to those friends and you'll be good. You'll go right back in the circle and you won't move. But if you believe what you believe to be true and you get alone as you make your way outside of the circle because you realize what you believe and what you want for yourself may not be what others have on their mind. Once you figure that out, if you figure out, okay, but I still want to go, that's now your truth. Now you got faith in what you're doing and no one can stop you. How many times have you let the fact that your friends couldn't do something be the reason you couldn't? I talk to Uber people all the time. New people come to St. Louis and they're like, oh man, I can't wait to see St. Louis. I'm like, what have you seen? And this is in the Uber, this is a conversation. Like, oh, I haven't seen anything. I can't get my friends to go. And I always ask them, why are you dependent on your friends? Did they say they want to go? No, but I want. See what I'm saying? How many things in your life have you given up because your friends didn't want to go? How many things have you given up because your girlfriend or your boyfriend didn't want to do it? How many things did you give up because your husband or wife didn't want to go? How many things did you give up because your kids weren't acting right and they didn't want to do it? How many things did you give up because your job or your boss wouldn't allow it? How many things have you given up and compromised for just because you want to be with somebody when you do it? I know you're a social being, but here's the cool thing about it. As you walk alone, as you step out and realize what you want, and you walk alone, what you'll find is that other people who are also on the same journey will find you. You won't be walking alone. You might lose the friends at the beginning that you had because they don't want to necessarily go with you, but as you go forward, you'll find other people. You'll find other folks who are willing to walk with you, who are on the same path and same journey. And that's how you get something huge. Imagine if, for a second, if you remember the Wright brothers, right? If one of the brothers decided he didn't want to go and do it, and the other brother's like, you know what? That's too hard to do by myself. I ain't gonna worry about it. We wouldn't be flying cars right now. The idea behind it, if Thomas Edison, you know, if somebody said, dude, you got to stop. How many people told Thomas Edison to stop? His friends and his family. 10,000 ways not to, sorry, 999,000 ways not to find how to do a light bulb. Imagine if somebody would have said, man, on 5,642, some of his friends or family or girlfriend, boyfriend said, hey, Thomas, you need to stop. You're never going to get this. And he was like, you know, you're right. We wouldn't be sitting here having lights. What about Henry Ford? If somebody said, dude, you're not going to be able to, how are you going to make a car? You don't think they said how you're going to make a car with no horse to pull it? Or how you going to make a carriage with no horse to pull it? You think they didn't say that to him? But the thing is, they had to step outside of their group. Their group didn't understand what they had. The group didn't understand how powerful this dream was inside of them. The faith that they have that this is to be achieved. It was nobody that could have told them differently. And they had to separate themselves from other people who didn't. But the cool thing about it is if you read the book, Think and Grow Rich, there was a guy who wanted to work with Edison. So Edison moved out to go by himself to get this light bulb. And as he did it, he had to shed his old friends. But there was already new people who heard what he was doing and were ready to roll with him. Take a step forward. Take a leap for yourself. Take a step outside of these friends that, you know, they don't want to do it. Do it on your own. I promise you, if you do it on your own, everything will find you. The problem is right now is when we try to do things, we do them in groups because we're social beings. We like to be social. We try to do things in groups, right? But in all reality, the groups are what hold us back. And as we stay in our groups and we kind of diminish our value by staying in these groups and not growing. I just want you to think about the things that you've given up, the things you've let go because somebody told you not to do it, or because you were scared because you're alone. But you're never alone because somebody else is making a move probably concurrent to you, and you will connect as long as your goals and your everything are also on alignment. Find your alignment. And that's all you need to do. You won't be walking alone too long because the problem is, you know, like I said before, it's your dream. It's not their dream. They may not see what you see. They haven't gone through the experiences that you have gone through that make you so passionate inside about what you are doing. One of the biggest things that I love to do is that if I'm dating somebody, I want to support them. I want to give them the most encouragement possible because I don't see what they see. I don't know what they've been through and why it's so important to them. They have to make that decision on their own, but they have support from me because I don't want to be left behind. I know what it feels like to be left behind, and I don't want that. And I don't think you want that too. So if you see your friends going forward, go with them. If your friends aren't going with you, go anyway. And you'll find a new group. And that doesn't mean you can't hang out with your friends later, but it also means that you've got something more powerful in you that you're not going to let stop you. And as soon as you get to that, oh man, oh man, oh man, you got some power in you. So thank you very much. I appreciate you being here. Yeah, I got nothing else to say. Go alone. And I promise you won't be alone too long. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. I appreciate and I love each and every one of you. You know I do. I truly mean that when I say that. And I wish the best for you. Go out there and attack it with the world. And don't let anything, including yourself, stop you. Because even if your friends say no, the cool thing is that you can still say yes. And that's all it needs to happen for success. All right, talk to you soon. Bye now.